So I got some comments asking me my opinion on Shenmue 3, and I just finished it, and it's kind of crazy, like how it came to be, you know. Well, when I first got Shenmue 3, because I'm a Shenmue backer, so it came in the mail, and you know, every Christmas we play Shenmue, or every season we play. Every time around the holidays we play Shenmue, either 1 or Shenmue 2, sometimes both. And this time, you know, we got Shenmue 3, so I thought that was pretty cool. So me and my brother, we put it on, we watched a recap video, and we had to step out for a little bit because, like, wow, this is actually happening. So that's kind of how I played Shenmue 3. I would play, he would watch. He would come over on the weekends, and then I'd progress the story. That's kind of how we always experience Shenmue. One of us would be playing, and the other one would be watching. As far as the game goes, I think it's my favorite Shenmue. And, you know, I'm not just saying that. You know, I kind of give it to you straight when sometimes it pisses off people that I say, you know, the PS4 HDs weren't as good as I wanted them to be. This game was way better than I expected it would be. You know, just it's a Shenmue game. I think that's the best way to describe it. I think that's why reviewers probably don't like it. I kind of found it funny that people wanted Shenmue to take Yakuza's ideas and implement it into their game. Like, that's not how Shenmue works. The shoe was on the other foot, you know? So I think people, you know, as far as the fighting system of Shenmue goes, it was different. And I think that threw a lot of people off. It's different than any game I've ever played. Like, even Virtual Fighter. I think people expected Shenmue to take from other games when, in fact, Shenmue just created its own thing, which is what Shenmue usually does. So I found the fighting system really fun eventually. At first it was hard to get, but then once you get the hang of it, it's really fun. Now, I know people, you know, they kind of write about how they miss Space Harrier and Outrun. But, you know, the way I see it, we have so many ways to play Space Harrier, Outrun, and, you know, Afterburner, and all those games. You know, we could play them on 3DS. We could play them, you know, I think on the Nintendo Switch now. There's, you know, when I want to play Space Harrier, I'll just play Space Harrier. Shenmue 3 had its own unique minigames and unique arcades. And I found that the Virtual Fighter chicken game was pretty fun. I don't know which one is my favorite. I actually really like the car game. I know that's everyone's least favorite, but that one was my favorite. The forklifts were great, and there's a lot of stuff that came back that I didn't expect to. And, you know, I kept my whole gameplay route spoil free, so I stayed away from all the internet groups and everything. And it's crazy, but I told myself I'd play it in Japanese. I kept telling myself I would, but when the time came, I went to the setting and I kept it in English. And, you know, because I played the HD versions on PC, I played them in Japanese, and I liked it. But as far as, like, the main character Ryogo, I think the voice actor Corey Marshall, like, his awkwardness just adds so much to the Ryo character that it's hard to play Shenmue without it, for me anyway, because that's the first way we experienced it was with the English voice. And I think, like, the Japanese voice Ryo is just like the main character, like, that you'd want, that you expect, you know. And then the English voice actor for Ryo is like something totally different than you wouldn't expect. So, and he kept that same character. I'm glad he did. I know it might have been a big risk there for the game, but he kept that same character, and I'm glad he did, because it was Ryo how I remembered him. Something Shenmue 3 could have done better, I think, was explaining how to play it. It has the help options. Like, when you first get into a battle, it's like, just press buttons. And I found that, like, that's not how it works, you know? So I think it could have done better in explaining how to play itself. But yeah, I thought the story was great. I'm glad they kept the main theme of Shenmue, which is patience. I'm glad they didn't rush the story and, you know, make you fight and win and avenge your father and everything. They kept that story plot device of patience. So the game is very slow driven. And for people who don't understand Shenmue, I always say it's like fishing. You have your football, you have your soccer, you have your exciting sports, but then you have golf, and then you have fishing. I think Shenmue is kind of like the fishing of video games, and I think Shenmue 3 kept that, it kept that title. And there's also fishing within Shenmue 3, which is making my metaphor kind of confusing. Fishing was also really fun. I had a lot of fun doing that, finding fishing spots and stuff. Makes me want to fish in real life. Got my hat on. But yeah, man, I thought it was way better than I thought it would be. And I don't want to give too much away with the story and everything, but it's Shenmue. What I noticed with the reviewers is that, and this goes the same with any review over every game, a lot of them focus on being entertaining, and Shenmue has a lot of material for them to work with. So you're in online reviewers, you're gonna see people kind of not giving the light that Shenmue 3 should be given, and then you're gonna see some people that give it the light, so that's good. And a lot of people didn't like the food system. After the first hour of gameplay, I got used to it. So one of my favorite things about Shenmue was the collecting aspect, and Shenmue 3 takes it to a whole nother level. I really didn't expect that. There's so many items in the game. Now the toy capsules people say that they're really hard to get the rare ones, but I don't know if they tried to get the rare ones in the old games because it took forever, and I tried to collect every toy capsule in the old games, and it was really hard. It's just as hard as this one. I think there's not as many toys in each machine, so it kind of makes it feel like the rare capsules are harder to get, but I think it's about the same. The old games, it was really hard to get those rare ones, like Wooden Man and the Virtua Fighter machine, and of course the Shenmue 1, it was pretty much impossible. Shenmue 3, it does feel a little hard because there's not a lot of toy capsules, toys in each machine. But yeah, I think the QTEs were pretty cool. Like the QTE fails were like really good. I think it's kind of just fun just to miss things on purpose just to see what happens. The leveling up system is really cool. You have all these old masters saying, you need more kung fu, you need more kung fu. And now you have a kung fu level. So it's like, okay, let me go earn that kung fu. And yeah, you have an endurance and you have an attack. And it's just something I wanted Shenmue 1 to be, actually. I think now there is like progression in Shenmue 1, but you don't really see it that well as you do in this game. So I thought Shenmue 3 did a really good job on that. And there's times where like you're moving stuff and then you see it come out in the game, like you're moving the arcade into a warehouse and then there it is. It's shipped. And I don't know if that's intentional. That could be just like coincidence, but I found that pretty cool. Yeah, it was just crazy experience, man. I'm glad I got to have my name in the credits, and I'm glad I got to be part of that. As a Shenmue game, it was my favorite Shenmue out of the three. It's my favorite Shenmue. So good job, Yu Suzuki. Good job, Corey Marshall, on your voice acting. I know it was probably really hard to remember how that character was played, probably. And good job, producers, everyone who made the game. I thought it went really well. I think the media tried to make it a mighty number 9, but it didn't work. So there's some negative press on Shenmue. Kind of got mixed reviews, which is Shenmue. It wouldn't be Shenmue without mixed reviews. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this little talk of Shenmue 3. I'm gonna probably play it again. I think I've already started another file, actually. Anyways, guys, what did you think of the game? Were you disappointed? If so, why? And anyways, this is Josh the Music Man signing off.